Chiefs Kingdom, welcome. Today we have an analysis that's going to keep every Chiefs fan on their toes. We're diving deep into an injury report that's stirring things up behind the scenes in Kansas City. With the team in a great position, leading the season, what's happening with some of our key players is something we're all watching closely. And of course, before we kick things off, go ahead and hit that like button to support our content and show that you're with us every step of the way. After all, every detail matters, especially with such a long injury list involving some major names. This week's topic, Kansas City Chiefs injury report. Now you might be wondering, which players are in doubt? We'll cover everything happening with Patrick Mahomes, Juju Smith-Schuster, Kareem Hunt, Mecole Hardman, and even some key defensive members like George Karlaftis and Mike Danna. Yes, Chiefs Kingdom is on high alert, and with good reason. We're set to face the Broncos in a Sunday rematch, and there couldn't be a worse time to handle so many injuries. With a short week to prepare, head coach Andy Reid and his medical team have been doing the impossible to get our Warriors ready for battle. Every injury, every absence, and every recovery is going to impact how this season unfolds and the dream path to the Super Bowl. So pull up a chair, grab your coffee, and stay with us until the end, because this talk promises to be a good one. General updates. Who's in and who's out? Let's start with the players who didn't participate in practice. Unfortunately, the only active players missing from both practice days were wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster and defensive tackle Tershawn Wharton. For those wondering what this means, we'll break it all down. Reid has already discussed Wharton's situation, describing it as a knee bruise, meaning it might not be too serious, but consecutive absences raise a question mark about his availability against the Broncos. And in Juju Smith-Schuster's case, it's a bit more delicate. He's been out since October 20th, when he was forced to leave due to a hamstring injury. This is a big concern, as Juju's potential is enormous, and the team clearly feels his absence on the field. Will he be able to return and contribute? The answer to that question is still up in the air. What's at stake with Kareem Hunt and Hardman? Another player everyone's watching is Kareem Hunt, one of the most explosive running backs in the league who's been shouldering a heavy load since the start of the season. For the past few weeks, he's been limited in early practices, suggesting the team is managing his workload to prevent bigger physical issues. Hunt, averaging over 22 carries per game, is crucial to the Chiefs' offense. If he's limited, our game plan will need adjustments. And with an opponent like the Broncos, this could make things challenging. We also can't forget Mecole Hardman, who's been dealing with a shoulder and knee injury. He's participated in practice in a limited capacity, but his potential impact is still uncertain. With Hardman out or limited, we lose a key player for both offense and returns, which are essential for good field positioning. Will he be ready for the game, or will we have to rely on other talent to fill that gap? George Karlaftis and the defensive line. Moving on to defense, let's talk about George Karlaftis. The young defensive end has been essential in pressuring the opposing quarterback, but an abdominal injury limited his practice participation. Thankfully, he was able to fully participate on Thursday, which is great news for all of us. In such an important game, having a healthy Karlaftis could be the difference between a win and a loss. Another defensive name that's been talked about is Mike Danna. He's been out since the game against the Saints in early October, but has finally returned to full practice, indicating that he could be back on the field on Sunday. With him in play, our defensive line gains more depth, something crucial against a team like the Broncos, with a solid running game and a strong offensive line. Patrick Mahomes, our tireless warrior. And of course, we couldn't forget about Patrick Mahomes. Our star quarterback also suffered a recent ankle injury, which had everyone on edge. But to the fans' relief, Mahomes fully participated in practice throughout the week, signaling that he's ready to lead the offense on Sunday. In his own words, Mahomes said the ankle is doing well, and that he can move around without restrictions. Having Mahomes on the field is undoubtedly a relief for the entire fan base. His impact on our game is massive, and with his talent, we know he can turn the Chiefs' offense into a real nightmare for any defense. So yes, Chiefs Kingdom, we can breathe a little easier. Mahomes is in charge, and that makes all the difference. Other key defensive names, Nazeeh Johnson and the secondary's impact. To wrap up our injury report, let's talk about Nazeeh Johnson. He recently suffered a concussion but returned to full practice. With him alongside Trent McDuffie, the Chiefs' aerial defense gains new strength, something essential as we face opposing attacks. With Johnson back, Our defensive coordinator, Spagnuolo, will have more options and flexibility to adjust coverages, pressure the opposing quarterback, and make things much harder for the Broncos. Chiefs Kingdom, it's time to weigh in. So, Chiefs Kingdom, after hearing all this, what's the verdict? Are these injuries too big of an obstacle, or do you believe our roster and coaching staff are capable of overcoming any challenge? Mahomes is ready to play, but Juju's absence and the uncertainty around Hardman and Hunt leave some questions. The big question is, will these setbacks weigh heavily against the Broncos? Do you think we can rely on our current lineup's strength and the genius of Andy Reid and our coordinators? We're entering a crucial stretch of the season, and every game counts. Leave your opinions in the comments. Share what you think can be done to strengthen the team. And of course, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel to keep up with every detail of this epic season. Thank you for being with us, Chiefs Kingdom. Let's make history together, one game at a time.